Yo, you've messed my brain up. All of y'all have messed my brain up. I can't even watch videos anymore by myself. This is something completely different. Why the Amazon makes Australia look like a joke by Casual Geographic, right? I wanted to watch this video last night before I left. Then in the back of my head, I was like, whoa, should I react to it instead? You know, I can't watch a video by myself anymore without thinking about reacting to it. So that's why, that's why I'm reacting to it. So, you know, I hope you like it. If not, I don't know. I just gotta do it. I got to. You wanna know why I know I gotta do it? When I was in my truck waiting for it to get loaded, I put my phone up to watch something. And I wasn't even paying attention. I was like, what's it called? I was zoning out and I kind of caught myself reacting to the video I was watching. I was talking. And I was like, dog, I can't watch videos about myself anymore. You ruined my brain. Yeah. So that's why I'm reacting to this. But let's get into it though. Oh man, I gotta actually start posting on my Instagram. Not Instagram, what I made a TikTok and a Twitter. I gotta get some shorts made and put them on there. I don't know what to do yet. Maybe for some clips from the stream. Oh, no, this is the video. Let's get into it. You know, I saw a video about this. It was, what is this called? Not the water cheetah. Jaguar. I saw a jaguar hop in the water and snatch one of these. Is it alligator? Are there alligators in the Amazon? What's the crocodile? No, alligator has the fat nose, right? Crocodile got the skinny nose? I can't remember. But it hopped in and it pulled one of them out. And I was like, that's crazy. This might be the video though.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way.
If Australia is Satan's sandbox, then the Amazon is its older brother raised by Brazil's Snake Island and tutored by the Darien Gap while babysat by the Serengeti, the land of felony deer.
Hey,
and
yo, that always looks
is a
disgusting.
country club compared to the largest rainforest and factory of nonsense on the planet. Because Australia is not that bad for what its reputation is, and for the most part, discernment and common sense will keep you in present tense. But also the Amazon would take Australia's lunch money. This is a jungle that has swallowed cities, animated nightmares.
Hey, yo.
Even Charles Darwin was naturally selected as a tribute to the forest. Allegedly. The Amazon is a living bullet hell from top to bottom, but the most dangerous animals in it, and the ones most likely to leave you full-time horizontal, may no.
Well, actually, I knew spiders could walk on. Wait, are those spiders? All right, my fault. I'm back. What was I saying? Yeah. Have you ever been by a lake or something like that, or an old pool? What are those little small things that walk on the water? They're not spiders, are they? Or are they spiders? Either way, I didn't know something as big as a tarantula could walk on water. Does it mean they're like lighter than water? No. Wild Kratts taught me that lizard could walk on water. You know the lizard I'm talking about? Wild Kratts, that lizard, what is it called? It runs weird. I don't know.
Will surprise you. And what better way to start than with the actual king of the jungle?
The water cheetah. Lions aren't even in the jungle. Why do they call that?
The jaguar, the cat whose name means he who kills with one leap. Fitting, because this cat is a walking one-shot, and arguably one of the most unfair apex predators out there. They can swim better than any big cat ever should. They can also climb, and these talents they'll combine to rain absolute pain on the food chain. Jaguars are the third largest cat, and the biggest you'll find in America. But pound for pound, no other cat bites harder. Thanks to a wide skull packed with masseter muscles and a shorter jaw for more crushing leverage, a motivated jaguar is said to have a bite force 7 times its own body weight, outclassing their carnivorous counterparts.
7 times.
The bull shark of the big cats has a bite that can break through a sea turtle's carapace, which they regularly.
Sea turtles in the Amazon? Well, I guess. I don't know where sea turtles are, to be honest with you. I just always thought they was on. Well, I guess there's a beach in the Amazon. Are they? I guess so. Am I dumb? I just never knew that. I guess I never thought about it either. So,
prey on. They also flatline Caiman, thanks to the jaguar's habit of going
That's
for the
video
back
I
of the
saw.
head. It's a hell of an attitude adjustment, one that can penetrate the skull and pierce the brain.
Just dragged it right up, like,
But okay. So safe to say, you'd have no chance if John Whiskers decided to make you a memory. Victims of jaguar attacks all have one thing in common, and it's that they all look like they were mauled by a claw hammer. In 2010, a 17-year-old was returning from a fishing trip when a jaguar exploded out of a ravine and jumped onto the boat, knocking both into the water before resurfacing with the teen's head in its mouth. A bystander fended the cat off with an iron pipe, and somehow the teen survived despite devastating head trauma, memory loss, and bone fragments from his skull nearly piercing his brain. In 2000,
memory loss. It actually did that much damage. Piece of the bone almost piercing his brain, or they said piercing his brain. Either way, that's crazy that he survived that. You know, I always thought that was crazy. There's this one, I think, girl that fell out of a plane like 30,000 feet, survived. Walked through the Amazon for a couple of days, survived. But at the same time, you could literally lose your footing walking down the stairs on the last stair and die. That's always been crazy to me. What you can survive and what you can actually just die from. The body is like, I don't know. The human body was weird. I just always thought about that.
2008, a jaguar wandered into an open tent and mauled the 21-year-old inside to death, with his body found with fatal damage to his spinal cord. Jaguars are the Amazon equalizer,
back of the head.
What many people would fear most in the jungle, but the humbling part is, they could easily do way worse. Out of all the big cats, it's jaguar attacks that are the least likely, other than snow leopards, and they live on heaven's driveway. From 1950 to 2025, there have been only 84 recorded jaguar attacks on people in the Brazilian Amazon, with 13 deaths that we know of. Not only is that a little more than one attack a year, many incidents involve hunters flanked by hunting dogs. Most people that have run into a wild jaguar will tell you they're more likely to barely acknowledge you and just keep it pushing. This is an apex predator that actively avoids us. And for good reason. Considering humans nearly wiped them out and they're only just starting to come back to the United States, we're definitely what
I mean, does he stay right here the whole video? Hold up. Alright, hold on. Let me move around right quick. Alright.
Brolic big cat has nightmares about. And while none of that's any solace if you do get pressed by a jaguar, there's actually much worse things to encounter in the Amazon than a leopard that lifts. For example,
what is that? First off, look at this caption. You're swimming along in the Amazon and you hear this strange noise. What is it? Why are you doing that? Maybe I'm not an outdoorsy person. Swimming in the Amazon? I don't know. Hey, to each their own, I guess.
You'll probably never hear a sound like that in the Amazon. But if you do, you may never hear anything ever again. Because a gang of giant river otters can absolutely cancel you. One alone can grow to 6 feet long and is tough enough to square up with a jaguar.
6 feet? I was about to make fun of them. And they run in groups. One is 6 feet tall. Well, long. And they hang out with, they toss around with jaguars.
Cancel you. One alone can grow to 6 feet long and is tough enough to square up with a jaguar. But an army of arachnids is like a high-functioning water wolf pack. These
water jaguar. Arianas. I'm saying that wrong. Hey, what do you say?
Otters will also, but an army of arachnids is
Arianas. I'm saying it wrong again. Arianas. What language is these words?
It's like a high-functioning water wolf pack. These giga otters will also victimize caiman, with scientists watching a pack of fur piranhas eviscerate a 5-foot caiman to nothing. No bones, no skull, just a former concept in under 45 minutes. Giant otters are built like a bad trip.
Look at them,
eyes that could win a staring contest with the void, but just like with jaguars, it's actually their cousins that do more damage. Despite local legends of giant otters capsizing canoes and tearing the canoeists to shreds, this bug-eyed breaststroking abomination mostly eats fish and rarely comes into contact with people. There's no case of a wild giant otter authoring a human obituary. And if one did, it would likely be defensive.
Or like, what's wrong with it?
But God help you if you offend otters enough for that, because this man showed what the consequences could be. Because after rescue,
did he keep changing? Let me move back then, because my hat's backwards and everything. If he keep changing back and forth, it doesn't even matter. Hold up. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Oh, I'm back.
A child that had fallen into the otter den. Wait, this man showed what the consequences could be. Because after rescuing a child that had fallen into the otter den at a zoo, Sergeant Silvio Hollenbach was swarmed and mauled by a family of enraged otters. which ultimately killed him. But an important fact is, it was likely in defense of recently born otter pups. So just like a jaguar, this is an apex predator that's more likely to ignore you than gore you. But it's always best to respect a creature that could put a jaguar in reverse with no key. Which is why you should be more afraid of the giant anteater, the ultimate sleeper build, because the same claws they use to break into termite mounds can easily tuck you in for a permanap. And when you realize termite mounds are built like concrete, then you'll realize that I lied. A 7-foot feather duster is something a jaguar has to worry about. Giant anteaters have killed jaguars, and they have a human body count too. In 2012, a 47-
Look at it, now he hurt. That energy output was not worth it. I've heard about giant jaguars? What? No, I've heard about giant anteaters. That one swipe could kill you. Well, I got that from it. I got that from an Instagram reel. Is that real? I think it might be.
Jaguars, and they have a human body count too. In 2012, a 47-year-old hunter approached an anteater head-on, as if he didn't take the animal seriously. The anteater slashed his thigh and bled him to death. 2 years earlier, an anteater defended itself against another hunter, and killed him after severing his femoral artery. A homicidal panda-armed vacuum cleaner is not a joke. The first red flag is being anything that comfortable in the presence of a predator. But the reason I'd be more nervous around a termite terminator than a jaguar is the predator paradox.
Weird.
Remember, with predators, you gotta earn their concern. Unless cubs are involved, otters won't bother, and jaguars are big enough to not care. But a legally blind Freddy Krueger steroid sloth will bleed you the first time you look like a threat. And they don't get safer in captivity, because in 2007, a zookeeper was gored so badly, she had to get her leg amputated in an operation that ultimately killed her. You're gonna learn that you fear the prey more than the predator, which is why it's surprising that arguably the jaguar's most feared prey is an animal you probably wouldn't think of. You're screwed if you get pressed by peccaries, not just because they have tusks that can emancipate your insides, because they roll in packs too and will defend each other. 300-pound jaguars have been driven up the trees by murder swine, and from this video you can see they'll deliver that same smoke to people. This is the mammal that scares me the most in the Amazon, because if you
No, for real, like wild pigs, the boars, they're actually nothing to joke around with. Nothing at all, right? I've never went hunting them before, but my dad used to tell me about my granddad used to have him hunting wild boars with him. And they are crazy animals. They are. The tusk and everything, they catch your leg and start tearing up it. Yeah, they actually crazy. I can see that.
See one, you know many more will follow. People have found dead jaguars with stab wounds, but surrounded by hooves. That pretty much tells you how the cat went out. Not only is this not a pig likely responsible for gun laws in certain states, it's arguably the worst mammalian jump scare in the jungle. But the most dangerous is an animal you may not have even considered, unless you live there. Because in a study interviewing over 120 people, more than 40% had been attacked by a vampire bat. Only 3 species regularly feed on blood, but the common vampire bat specializes in bleeding mammals. Usually that means seals and livestock, but opportunity can bring them right to humans. The first known outbreak of human rabies transmitted by bats was in 1930s Trinidad, where up to 90 people died. In 2005, there were 55 human rabies cases caused by bats, which was up.
Okay, I'd be scared of these for the rabies reason, not even that they're deadly or dangerous. They do bite you and lick your blood from what I just seen, but no, the rabies, man, you got to be on that rabies, because if you showing the symptoms, you're like Dunzo. That's what I know.
Up from the 46 in 2004. Since the 1930s, it's estimated that over 1,000 people have died to vampire bat-assisted rabies, with the bulk being in Brazil.
Hey, weirdo.
Now, bats already get a lot of shit, and I feel bad for even contributing to it. Just keep in mind that typically less than 1% of bats in an area may have rabies at any given time, and they're only really a problem in places with difficult access to medical attention, like the Amazon. But there's also a chance bats being more dangerous is only thanks to us. One species was said to only bleed birds like guan and tinamous, but with their natural prey driven out by human activity, they started resorting to people, with a 2016 study finding human blood in bat samples. Mind you, before it was thought that these bats would rather starve than drink mammalian blood. Bats have an unfair reputation for what they do for the world. Without them, we wouldn't have chocolate or tequila. But it'd also be a lie if I said the chances you fall asleep outside and get your blood assets drained aren't zero. In their defense, the mammals of the Amazon are only responsible for a fraction of the life retirement.
Man, bats always look like some of the weirdest thing in the world. They always look just ugly. Look at that. Face only a madre could love. It's disgusting looking little animals. But I always, it's crazy though. I always think bats were cool. And I still do. That might be Batman. You know what I mean? But to actually see one in person is like, ugh. But to see a group of them flying at night, it's like, whoa. Yeah.
Aren't zero. In their defense, the mammals of the Amazon are only responsible for a fraction of the life retirements there. Well, most of the mammals. Wink, wink. But it's the reptiles that are more infamous. And no reptile displays the insanity of the Amazon more than the caiman. I feel so bad for the caiman. It seems evolving on a winning team only led to them getting bodied. They get their wigs split by jaguars, and can get mauled by otters, squeezed to a flat line by anaconda, and electrocuted by an animal that has no business having that power. When they're small, they can get attack on tightened by heron, or ravished by rodents. And when they finally get big enough, caiman earned the ire of the most dangerous predator of all time. Caiman got dropped into hardcore server and have been getting curb stomped by the jungle census since. Except there's one caiman this doesn't really apply to. The black caiman can grow to 16 feet long, weigh over 1,000 pounds, and an adult would not take this crap from a jaguar. In fact, in the land of apex predators, the black caiman might be the apex predator, as many locals fear them more than any jaguar, otter, or eel.
How big it
Since
is!
2004,
oh, whoa! Did you see that?
Apex predator, as many
look. Starve the body.
Locals fear them more than any jaguar, otter, or eel. Since 2014, there have been 66 caiman attacks with 19 deaths, with most occurring near fishing sites. And while most of these attacks are defensive or straight up provoked by people,
for the catfish.
The scariest thing is their personalities. Caiman in areas where they've historically been hunted are shy and super people avoiding. But in other areas, people will tell you that they'll attack anything that moves. And I promise you're not ready for how powerful the biggest member of the alligator family can be. Just the force of their tail can shatter your knee.
Straight up dinosaur. That's crazy. You really can tell that these are like descendants of dinosaurs when you look at them. Like, look at that. This reminds me like Stegosaurus almost. Look at the color on this.
For how powerful the biggest
that
member
blue,
of the alligator
from
family
being
can
dark
be.
like that.
Just the force of their tail can shatter your knee with a well-aimed swing. But unlike crocodiles, caiman don't really have the reputation for becoming man-eaters. And like others, a majority of their victims are fish. And again, it's another example of humans being the real monsters. Because the black caiman was nearly poached into extinction for its hide, so bad that it led to the explosion of the capybara and piranha that were being kept in check. Which ironically would only bite humanity right in the agriculture. But there's one reptile that has a reputation worse than the caiman, and it's
Anaconda.
This trigger warning is only because my mom's afraid of snakes, and if you're like her, go to this timestamp. Last warning, because the other side of this trigger warning is the big
I'm not afraid of snakes, actually. Oh, you know a story? I actually almost died to a snake. Should I tell that story now? Maybe. It'll be too long, actually. No, I won't tell it. Maybe during the stream.
Biggest snake on the planet. Not the longest, that would be the reticulated python. But the heavyweight title goes to the green anaconda. Now the anaconda is actually the animal victim to the most egregious size exaggerations of any animal. But most agree, a female can reach the neighborhood of 20 feet long and violate the scales at nearly 550 pounds. You probably know the anaconda.
I could not, I don't hate them, or I'm not scared of them. I could not live with anything that big around me though. You know, I know Australia, I saw a video, I think it was in this, it was in this video. The clip of those snakes fighting on the roof and fell. Wasn't that Australia? I think it was, I don't know. But something that big, I couldn't live around it like that.
Life deprived with an existing ending embrace, but it's not the suffocation that does you. It's the fact that they squeeze so tight, your heart can't pump against the pressure, and any blood flow to the brain gets blocked. Not to mention, backwards facing teeth make it impossible to escape.
Get up out of there.
An adult Amazonian anaconda is another apex predator.
One that looks so stupid from the front though. Look at that. 2 dots just placed right there. They look just dumb. You know, I
can swallow virtually anything, thanks to jaws that don't unhinge, but actually stretch to accommodate. And a windpipe they can shove out of their mouths to breathe through like a meat snorkel. So Stevie Wonder could see how Titanoboa's little brother could easily void a human. But there is a catch. Human shoulders are the #1 reason most snakes aren't physically capable of swallowing a human.
Too wide.
If they are, it is very, very rare for one to try, let alone succeed. And even though the biggest anacondas probably could, there are 0 cases of one ever eating a person. Let me say that again. It's never happened that we know of. People have been struck by condas, but the animal that eats like 5 times a year and then spends the rest of it on power save mode definitely is doing it out of defense. Meaning if a paraplegic dragon bites you, you probably did something. I get it, but this is not the snake to be afraid of in the Amazon. That would be, look, snakes have a worse PR than bats, so I don't even want to do them like that. But if you see a pit viper in a cut,
I need to give me another, to not be in the videos. I see they have the video like, yo. Watch the video, dog. Put the fries in the bag. Like, nobody want to hear you yap.
Look, snakes have a worse PR than bats, so I don't even want to do them like that. But if you see a pit viper in a cut, pick a higher power and start a conversation. There's a lot of venomous snakes in the Amazon, and the most infamous is the common lancehead, or the frudolence. Out of all the venomous snake bites in the Amazon, the common lancehead is responsible for up to 90%. Between 2012 and 2021, the number of common lancehead bites was 202,604, with 766 deaths. And I'm gonna link the study that said it in the description because I read it and I don't believe it.
Whoa. I wasn't even paying attention. From 2012 to 2021, 202,604 bites, 766 deaths. And bear in mind, wasn't the jaguar like from 19 something to 20 something? Only 80 some kills? This big dog be hunting.
6 deaths, and I'm gonna link the study that said it in the description because I read it and I don't believe it. Lancehead venom isn't just toxic, it's designed to murk prey fast so the snake doesn't have to track them. The venom attacks tissues and blood cells and causes them to lyse and burst, instigating internal hemorrhaging while also blocking blood clotting with anticoagulants to keep you bleeding. And it happens fast. One 10-year-old girl was bit, and even with relatively quick medical attention, she still had to get her leg amputated. Another girl was struck, likely by a frudolence, and the venom turned her leg into a black stick. You can look it up if you want. I'm sure as hell not going to show it here, but a black stick tinted green. That is what her leg.
So did it like it? What's the word? The not narco. It decompose. Decompose. This is another word for that. I hate when I know a word and I just can't get it out. I don't know. It rotted it basically.
Now, what cost her leg was the fact that she was originally treated with traditional medicine and not brought to a clinic until a month later. Most times with immediate medical, a majority of bite victims end up making a full recovery. And the fact that most bites end up being dry explains the low bite to death ratio. But it's when you get envenomated in an area of difficult or remote access that you're basically a walking corpse. The sad part is, snakes don't want to resort to using venom unless they think their life is in danger. In fact, most times the snake will bite at you instead of biting you. But lanceheads often hunt rats in coffee or banana plantations, which can lead to a double-edged jump scare for them and the farm workers. So while everyone's scared of Satan's weighted jump rope, it's a snake you don't see that should scare you. Also, honorable mention to the Bushmaster. With a name like that, you are not to be played with. You got it. But it's not just the venomous occupants that'll fold you. The poisonous ones will get you too. And the Amazon has the most poisonous animal on the planet. And the fact that it's a tiny skittle of a frog.
Oh, okay. Animal. I thought, I thought you meant poisonous snake. I thought for sure that was the black mamba. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Poison dart frogs. Crazy, because you can't even touch them.
It's the second biggest
because they're poisonous, not venomous.
The same caustic hermit that could sleep comfortably on a quarter has enough toxins to one-shot 20 people, 20,000 mice, and 2 bull African elephants.
Yeah. And from what I know, they get it from, because you can buy those in stores, I think. They're poisonous, which means it's on them, not in them. I can't really remember that right. I think poisonous means you got to eat it to die, but venomous means it has to bite you. But basically, they get their poisonous from eating bugs, I think, if I remember right.
There are no elephants in the Amazon. This thing's built like a biblical punishment.
What is going on,
The poison dart
boss?
frog got its name from indigenous hunters rubbing their arrow tips on the frog's back. If you were to get injected, at best the batrachotoxin would cause numbness and nausea. At a higher concentration, the poison that runs interference between nerves would cause paralysis, convulsions, and even seizures. Any higher, and the paralysis of the diaphragm and heart failure would cause suffocation, cardiac arrest, and death. To add insult to permanent inactivity, it's not even their poison they're packing. That is a stolen bag. The amphibian poison pill gets it from the beetles they eat and the chemicals. To my knowledge, a poison frog hasn't directly packed up a person, but recently Russian opposition Alexei Navalny was lethally poisoned by poison frog poison. So on the list of animals to fear in the Amazon, rancid rabbits are pretty low. Mostly because their dress code is a literal red flag, along with green, gold, and all the others. Getting in the water is different, because you'd likely never see it coming. So what is the scariest fish in the Amazon? Because there are a lot of options. The arapaima is a several 100-pound armor-plated Jurassic guppy that can easily turn your lights off. Bull sharks are considered...
It knocked them out. Okay, I'm back. 8 knocked them out, but why do they put that sound on it?
100-pound armor-plated Jurassic guppy that can easily turn your lights off. Bull sharks are considered the most aggressive shark species and the closest to the stereotype, and they've been known to venture up the Amazon. And while they're not as unhinged as their reputation is, and attacks in rivers are super rare, Murky river water is the best place to become a
Hippos.
shark statistic. And the pacu has human teeth and has been
Ugh.
nicknamed the ball cutter. No further
Hey.
comment, but the
Stop! Get that out the water. What is it doing in there?
pacu has human teeth and has been
Ball
nicknamed
cutter?
the ball cutter. No further comment. But the most infamous fish in the Amazon is the candiru, and they're the reason people say you should never pee in the waters. Because according to legend, the parasitic pin needle will follow the urine up your urethra, where they get lodged up there with their backwards facing spines.
What? Yeah, man. That. So one fish gonna bite my balls off, and the other one gonna swim up. And...
Think of the
I'm done with
anaconda's
that.
jaws, but clamped inside the most sensitive part of your body, and allegedly, only invasive surgery can remove it. But in all of humanity's history, there has been only one recorded case of such a fate, with one man in 1997 claiming that a candiru jumped out of the water, swam up his pee stream, and into him. Yet scientists
Oh, that's made up. Come on. It jumped out the water into your pee stream and then swam up it. You know, you were into sounding. He was into sounding and he put a live fish up there. That's what happened. Then when he couldn't get it out, he went to the doctor, the ER, and made up some crazy excuse like they all do. That's what they all do. No, you see what happened was I was walking into the house, I tripped over my shoes, hit the couch, flipped over that, then the glass jar was just on the table right there, and I happened to hit it. Ass first. And that's why I need help to get this out. I didn't just put this up there, I promise. Like, come on. We know what you was doing.
has proven that not only is that physically impossible, like fluid physics, it has also been proven that candiru aren't even attracted to human urine. The piranha is another fish with bad PR, but we now know that they're mostly shy scavengers that also eat plants. You could sit in a pool of feeding piranha.
You know, I've always wanted a pet piranha, but I don't think you can even have those. For the longest time, I'm like, man, I want some piranhas. I want to just feed them stuff and watch them eat it. I want them. But I don't think you can do that.
Piranhas, and like a toddler's vegetables, likely go untouched. Now, attacks do happen, and headlines can be something out of a horror movie, but they're rare.
7-month-old
only in
baby.
times of extreme environmental stress and shallow water. Also, the whole piranha flesh stripping a cow thing was actually a psyop staged by locals to impress President Theodore Roosevelt. You're much more likely to accidentally eat a piranha than the other way around. And even the pacu's ball-biting reputation has been greatly exaggerated.
They get
So what's the
big.
scariest fish in the Amazon? It's definitely the one that's less eel than fish. The electric eel is actually a knife fish related to a catfish, but it's closer to an aquatic taser. The fact that there's a fish that's just up and weaponized electricity and we just all accept that as a fact of life.
How does it do that? And it's not even an eel. Why is it called that? Catfish, eel, Pegasus. I thought he had wings and it was a horse. What it was?
Taser. The fact that there's a
Lungfish.
fish that's just
Hello?
up and weaponized electricity and we just all accept that as a fact of life is the third biggest middle finger the Amazon has to offer.
I'm
And at
gonna
8
stuff.
feet up to 40 pounds, this imitation eel has killed people. But it's not the electricity you worry about. It's getting knocked out in water and drowning knee deep. It's also the fact they can jump.
Yo, this is not even got nothing to do with that. Did you see? There was a dude in Florida, I think, who knocked the dude out and then threw him in the water on the pier. Off the pier into the water and he drowned it. What was going on? Like, I don't know the story, but that's crazy. I saw the video. He knocked him out, and while he was knocked out on the pier, he dragged his body and threw him into the water. I was like, what? I think he got a did he get charged already? I was like, what's going on?
Out of the water to tase you, which a scientist discovered by accident when he tried transferring. They can jump out of the water to tase you, which a scientist
Why is he
discovered
doing all
by
that?
accident when he tried transferring one into a new aquarium and nearly got fried in the process. Not to mention 8 feet of not an eel can have all their vital organs packed into 20% of their body. The remaining 80 is reserved for electric organs. This is one of those things you blindly accept as a kid.
So you gonna dedicate 80% of your body to generating electricity to shock something. 20% is all you need to actually live. The 80% is just to kill. Yeah. Ain't not even a fish. I mean, not even the eel. You're just a Pegasus fish.
The remaining 80 is reserved for electric organs. This is one of those things you blindly accept as a kid, only to severely question the existence of as an adult. So we went through mammals, reptiles, fish, and amphibians. That only leaves the most dangerous group of all. Kinda. Because spiders aren't insects, but damn it, they're going in this section. Oh, yep, spider warning. Sorry.
I do not have arachnophobia.
Goliath bird-eating spiders are the largest tarantulas in the world.
It's a phobia, big dog. I just don't see it. Like, nothing about this, like, ah! When I see a picture of it. Now, if I saw this in real life and it was running toward me, that's a different story. Actually, it's big as a hand. That's kind of crazy. And it's a bird hunting spider.
The funny thing is, they rarely prey on birds, but the naming guy made damn sure you don't forget they can. They mostly go for rats, frogs, lizards, sometimes snakes, and they do this by paralyzing prey with venom and then liquefying their insides with enzymes to turn the prey into soup. But as that one weird spider apologist that refused to kill them as a kid, I gotta say that tarantulas are virtually harmless, with venom no worse than a wasp sting, and they've never killed a human. The most dangerous thing about them is that they're terrified of humans and will flick highly irritating hairs into your face as defense, and those hairs are absolute hell if they get in your eyes. And as intimidating as a Goliath might be, they're like a soft-shelled lobster to a coati. And people too, because the tarantula is considered a delicacy. Now this spider is a different ballgame. The Brazilian wandering spider is responsible for thousands of bites a year, with an estimated 40,000 occurring annually in its namesake country. Like the tarantula, they're also afraid of people and lash out defensively. The problem is, they also hide in dark crevices, which leads to a mutual jump scare from people. They have an especially bad habit of finding themselves inside shipments of bananas.
I thought that was the brown recluse. Are they both the same thing?
There was one time a store in Austria was shut down for several days.
Yeah, I remember
spawned
this.
out of a banana crate like a jack-in-the-box. Appropriate response, because the Brazilian Antichrist venom has a lot of effects: paralysis, trouble breathing. But the most infamous side effect is that envenomation can cause a painful, several-hour case of priapism. Now Google priapism and you'll understand why this is the #1 middle finger of the rainforest. One that can end your baby-making career permanently. But even with thousands of recorded bites a year,
I don't even need to know what that is. Let me tell you something. When you start messing around with that area, hey, you're going too far. That's all we got, man. That's all we got.
One that can end your baby-making career permanently. But even with thousands of recorded bites a year, there have been less than 20 deaths recorded since the 1900s. Mostly because, again, animals don't love to waste venom, and most bites are dry, and even if they aren't, with anti-venom, you're almost guaranteed to be fine. That being said, you better have anti-venom. I love Die Hard, not enough to live it. That being said, I'd take a spider over a Satan.
Oh, man.
The Amazonian variety is the largest on the planet, and
I'm not even scared of bugs. I don't, there's some people who like scared of bugs, creepy crawlers and all that. This right here, something about this, like on a primal level, primal, genetic, my brain is like, no, I don't like looking at that. I don't like all these legs. I don't like that they're both the ends look the same. I don't like that this segment's like, I don't like anything about that. Just look at this. This is the head up here, right? Or maybe this is the head. It's trying to confuse me. I don't know. No, this is the head.
punch way above their weight class, with a prey list that can include birds, bats, and rats. Centipedes like this can submit prey 15 times their size with paralyzing neurotoxic venom. And it is no exaggeration, one of the most painful bites a human being can experience.
You need a warning on this.
Kill you, and that's not as a favor to you. There's at least one case of a centipede subtracting a person, and it was when a Venezuelan child opened a soda can and was mortally wounded by the crawly hidden inside. That does raise one hell of a question though. Would you rather take a bite from a centipede or stings from bullet ants? How it got its name is pretty straightforward, but its indigenous name translates to the one who wounds deeply.
Probably a bite from a bullet ant. I feel like if I get bit by a bullet ant, I'd be an OG. You know what I mean? I can walk around and be like, yeah, I got bit by a bullet ant. Oh, how much it hurt? No. People ask you, oh, really? Did it hurt? Did it hurt? You want to know how much it hurt? Then I just go on a whole long tirade. See, first off, I felt it like this. Then they were like this. And they say it's a bullet ant. It really is a bullet ant. I get bit by a bullet ant, though. For sure. I definitely do it. Call me Coyote Peterson. Colty Peterson.
As well as 24-hour ant, because you're scheduled for 24 hours of agony and untold suffering once you get bit. Entomologist Justin Schmidt has described a sting as less like a gunshot and more like walking over flaming charcoal with 3-inch nails stuck up your foot. The ants are even used as a rite of passage for the Setere Mawe people, with those initiated having to wear a glove of these piss ants for some time, all while being lit up by the insects. It's a process that can cause temporary paralysis and hallucinations, and the process is done not once, but up to 20 times. It's a different level of pain, but one that's not lethal, as bullet ants have never killed a person. Yeah. So
That
as
we know
unpleasant
of.
as a run-in with a wandering spider, centipede, or ant army would be, those aren't the bites you fear the most. This is. Because the kissing bug is statistically one of the deadliest animals in the Amazon,
Kissing
with a
bug.
worldwide kill rate of over 10,000, with over 7
10,000?
million people infected. And it's because the assassin bugs can spread a parasite that delivers Chagas disease, a parasite they spread through their poop. Once you accidentally rub the infected feces into a bite wound, you've been got, and you often don't realize it until you wake up looking like you lost an argument to Mike Tyson. It's an uncomfortable, unsightly disease, one that erases tens of thousands of lives in the Amazon, including, allegedly, Charles Darwin. It's highly suspected that the long-time 40-year illness and eventual demise of the father of evolution was caused by a one-time run-in with a kissing bug and the development of Chagas that came after. By the numbers, that makes this bug one of the deadliest creatures in the jungle. But not number one. That spot goes to the deadliest.
That's crap. Man. See, things like that you... when you learn about something like this, and then you realize how many times have you been asleep? How many times have you woke up and got rubbed something because you felt something like, am I God? Like, this is the type of knowledge you hate learning. That's what they always say. Ignorance is bliss. I mean, I'm glad I know it. Maybe I won't do that anymore, but it's like, man, maybe I'm already it's too late for me. Maybe it is. Oh my God. Oh, no. Kissing bug.
Animal of all time. The animal you should fear the most isn't a jaguar, anaconda, caiman,
mosquito,
or even unethical Viagra.
Mosquito.
It's
mosquito.
Mosquito. Mosquito has buried more people than every single war in human history combined. And it's no different in Earth's biggest jungle, as Anopheles berlingi has killed untold numbers of people, as largely the biggest vector of malaria, along with other maladies like dengue, yellow fever, and even Zika. I consider them so dangerous because there's no confusion if a jaguar or viper bites you, but mosquito bites can easily go under the radar until you wake up to the Grim Reaper on your nightstand. And the worst part is, mosquitoes could easily be way worse. One, because only females suck blood, but also because out of the thousands of species, mainly 3 are responsible for census cuts on humanity. One adjustment by them, and they could possibly wipe us out, but again, it might be our own fault they're so dangerous, as deforestation has boosted the number of bites, and those same deforested areas can have biting rates 278 times the normal. And that's why it's humans that are tied for the most dangerous animal in the Amazon. It's been said that deforestation has killed 500,000 people in the last 20 years, with nearly 30,000 a year attributed to heat stress. But human-caused deaths can be even more direct, as over 1,700 activists have been murdered in the Amazon between 2012 and 2021, while trying to prevent activity like mining, oil drilling, and logging. That's more than the deaths due to jaguars, anacondas, caimans, venomous snakes, and spiders combined. So no, I'm not just being edgy when I say one of the most life-threatening things you can run into in the world's most dangerous jungle is another human. And most of those murked were indigenous activists fighting for their land.
Oh, they own land.
There was also humans that nearly drove the caiman out of commission, a panther into past tense, and many, many more. As for the Amazon, it is as dangerous as it is beautiful, and the animals in it are really only doing what they can to survive. And both are worthy of our respect and fear, because the most terrifying
squawk, squawk, squawkity, squawk, squawk, squawk. Where does that come from?
thing about them is the reality of a world
if you watch this long
where they're not here.
Yo, what are you doing that for? Like, what is that? This is, oh man, Archibald Ducati, aka the Snake Ninja, a Brazilian activist and conservationist famous for putting venomous / poisonous animals in his mouth to raise awareness and protect animals against Amazon deforestation and river pollution. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it, I guess. Like, what if it start going the other way and go in your mouth and down your throat? To each their own, I guess. Each their own. I probably did think of it another way. Yo, man, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I wanted to watch it, but I can't watch it without reacting to it, so I might well react to it and put the video up. If you enjoyed it, cool, cause thank you. If you hated it, my fault, OG. I ain't my fault, OG, right? But is your father Rodney though? I'm just asking. The one with the fat butt? Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get out of here. I see you on the next one.